So I want to do a few dishes with you guys today. Share and let you know what I'm up to. You're talking to Twellyah. When you talk in the chat, it's me, Andrea, same person. Please go ahead and drop a comment, and I'll share with you what I'm doing. Okay, so if you're looking at my screen right now, you're seeing a dish. I made hummus this morning for the first time using a blender, and it came out super good. So I just dressed it. I wanted to test it. If you have seen any of my videos, you know I love zest. I'm always using lemon. So because my family doesn't always consume everything I make immediately, um, I'm making sure I secure my hummus because I don't want it to go bad. So I'm just bottling it up. I think sometimes what happens is that I make too many things, and with busy lives, it's sometimes hard to choose what you're gonna have. So this, I've had some roasted red sweet pepper. I put a little bit of ginger, and I did put some hot peppers in there, some Scotch bonnet pepper, and I find that it was a good blend, very good blend, rich and creamy. It makes no sense for me to buy this at the store when I can make it, so I whip it up. All you need is some cooked chickpea. Once you cook the chickpea, you just add it with some cold water, some sesame seed oil. It's called tahini. I think that's what it's called. I should check and let you guys know for sure as soon as I'm done telling you about it. Yeah, I think it's called tahini sauce, but it's made from sesame seed. And then I use lemon juice, lemon zest, a little bit of salt. You can put olive oil in it. I don't because I'm going to dress it with the olive oil, so I don't put any in there. And I think the sesame seed oil is sufficient. It's sufficient oil content. So I'm super impressed. First time trying this with the blender, and it's so good. As you can see, the texture is just the same as store-bought. There's nothing lumpy or anything like that in it. So what I'm going to do is just put this in the freezer. I'm ready for it later. I'll pull it up. So good. There is my homemade hummus. What do I eat this with? I use anything. So see, super tasty and loads of flavor. So I was using Skyflake to have it. I just broke my fast with this. It's a rich protein dish, and as you can see, I dressed it simple. I just used some olive oil, and then I sprinkled some basil. So to have it just like that. You can tell I love it, right? Look how much I'm using. Not a bit, but a whole lot. Look at that. Tastes so good. Mm-hmm, 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 mm-hmm. So, where are you watching me from? Can you let me know in the chat? Okay, so that was mission number one. Unfortunately, I started that party before you guys joined me, so that ship has sailed. But now, I want you to see how easy it is. These are all stuff for my gravy that I'm gonna do later. So that's all prep. So I'm gonna just show you one by one how I get through these stuff. This is uncooked lentils. It's uncooked, but it's soaked. I washed it in a strainer, then added some water to it and let it sit. I use boiling water. A lot of people have issues with gas in legumes and peas and so forth. So what do I do to counteract that? I use boiling water and it causes all the gas to escape. Hubby's baking carrot cake. Ah, yeah, it's not been a long time. I wonder how it's going to taste this time. So I have flaxseed, and that is what. Let me put this a little closer. I'm going to grind the flaxseed. It helps to plug it in, right? And just like that, I have ground flaxseed. The reason why I grind the flaxseed is because flaxseed has a lot of minerals that are really good for the vegetarian or vegan. However, when the flaxseed is grounded beforehand, it loses all that. It's literally no good for you if you buy ground flaxseed in the store. You're wasting your money. You're tossing it away. You don't need that. You need flaxseed that is freshly ground because that's what's going to give you the minerals that you need. Sorry about that. I just went and secured my hummus that I'm going to come back to eating later. I can't allow for any pesticide to get in there. So, I absolutely love cooking and baking. I had used this spoon in the hummus earlier when I was tasting it. So I just wiped it off and I'm still using it. A lot of people, when they're baking um, bread, they use eggs. But I don't need to use eggs as a vegetarian. I'm not a full vegan. I'm a vegetarian, but my diet is mostly vegan. Just because I have a lot of sensitivity. But there are times when I crave things that maybe an ice cream or a piece of cheesecake or whatever it is. I have it. I'm not like most people who will not have it. I do have it. So, couple things because I'm making a bread. I need to have some kind of leveling agent. For this, I'll use yeast and a little bit of baking powder. So what I did was I got some warm water. This is traditional yeast. That's a tablespoon. I put it into my bowl just so that you can see what I'm doing here. I'm putting it in the bowl because I want to activate the yeast. If you ever hear anyone say activate yeast, this is what they're talking about. You need to get the yeast to start to foam. The best way to do that is to use sugar and warm water. You can go in with regular water, but warm water makes it come alive much faster. So I'm just sprinkling a little bit of sugar on it, and you'll see the difference in a moment. I use brown sugar. I'm always using brown sugar, nothing but brown sugar. So while that is activating and this is setting, see how it's coming together real jelly? Now I need the other things that I'm going to put in my lentil loaf. The thing about it is that this needs to be blended, but I also need to put some other things in it. So I'm going to use coconut milk to blend it. I'm not a big fan of these. I prefer to do it myself. Anyone who watched my videos, you know this by now. I prefer to do it fresh, but for the sake of convenience, I'm using this. My hubby swears by it. He's been buying it a lot lately. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that. So I'm just adding the milk directly to that, and then I'm gonna pulse it. Put a little bit more. That will be what binds it. I'm not using any flour. This is a flour-free. My tongue is getting tired here. It's a flour-free bread. Yay! I'm gonna do it in here. What I'm also gonna do, just to make life more interesting, I'm gonna add the salt directly to this mixture. And put in about a not a tablespoon, a teaspoon and a half. Yeah, it's about 1.5 teaspoons. I put it directly in. And now I'm gonna blend it. You gotta plug it in to get it to blend. Okay, and just like that, we're done. How long was that? 30 seconds? I think it was about 30 seconds. I'm gonna add some other things here just because I want to get maximum maximum benefits from my bread. So these are all the things I'm adding in. And yes, I don't typically measure. Oopsie, did I say that out loud? Yep, I know. Baking is a science, and you got to be specific. But I don't always measure. Um, Call me unconventional in that sense. Look at that. See my yeast? Isn't that beautiful? That's science. I've activated the yeast. All the properties are now ready to make it into a bread. Just grabbing a glass bowl. I'm going to rinse it out just because I want you to see clearly what I'm doing. No tricks. Thank you, ideal. So normally when we're doing bread, we would have flour and baking powder and yeast and oil and all of that good stuff. Because my base is lentils, I'll start by pouring the wet, which is my lentils. I may need a little bit more water, I'm not sure. I will see how it goes. Or maybe I'll just use a little coconut milk to rinse this out. That way I don't waste any of my lentils. I noticed that most recipe online, they do use the orange lentils. But here in Toronto, I find that most time you don't see it so readily. These are the ones I have, the brown one. I've done this before, and it was super good. So I said I gotta do it again, but I'm doing it a bit different this time. In that because I did it before and I know it tastes so good. That was my first time trying it. I really am not concerned about how it's gonna come out, and so I am what some people call the winging it. No, I'm not really. So I have my lentils. And technically, if I wanted to, I could add my yeast to this and just let it bake and swell and all of that good stuff. But now I'm gonna add in my flaxseed. See now, it's come together. It's like using eggs. So what I've put in is equivalent to 2 eggs. You can use a whisk, you can use a spoon, it's up to you. I'm just using a spatula because it's just liquid that I have right now. To this, at this point, you can add in your oil. I'm just using a little bit of olive oil. It's about a tablespoon and a half, nothing much. So far, I've just gotten lentils and flaxseed. A lot of folks, when they're making this, they use probiotic yogurt in it. I don't have probiotic. I guess technically I don't. But what I do have is some vegan culture, and that is what I'm going to use. So this is the one I use to fill it. It's called coconut milk. It has vanilla, they say, but the texture is just like the probiotic. My enunciation is so off today. And that's about a 3/4 cups that I've spooned in. You can buy it in your supermarket. Just look for every food. I'm saying food supermarkets in Toronto right now. They all have a great vegan or vegetarian aisle. And you can get a lot of stuff. They have a fridge dedicated to vegan and vegetarian products. So if you don't get this particular brand, this is the Riviera. You can't get this one. They have plain, but this is, as you can see, a coconut one. I think I've seen avocado, and they have a plain, I believe. But there are other brands out there. I'm not sure. But a friend of mine introduced me to it years ago, and I find their product is pretty good. So I keep on using it. And I'm just mixing that culture into my lentils and flaxseed. Now, see the yeast, it's fully activated. So I'm just going to pour that in. There's just this rich, earthy smell from the lentils. You see now it looks more like a dough coming together. Now I discovered that this is very rich. So the last time I used it, and I'm using it again. What's it called? Sicilian husk. I'm just putting a bit. I know I'm not measuring. These are all very rich. I'm also going to add a bit of chia seed. This is the red, brown chia seed. I don't think it has much nutritional value, mainly because it's grounded. And as I was saying earlier with flax seeds, these seeds need to be grounded just before you use them. Although they say it's red, if you notice, it doesn't look so red. Look at that. Well, on my camera it looks red. All right, you get what I mean. I was expecting a brighter red, or at least the red to look as they've got it here. So I have a couple more that I'm going to add in. This black sesame seed, oh my goodness. The nutritional value, look at this, it's off the chain. Just one, what is it? This is the proper serving is 3 tablespoons. So with 3 tablespoons, you're getting 22%. Are you seeing that? 22% of you, an average of your daily required nutrients. Who knew that, right? So with a 3 tablespoons, I think I got about 3 tablespoons in there. And I'm just gonna stir these in because I want the moisture to get locked into it. Hence my reason for stirring in rather than whipping. And see, it folds in very nicely, becoming stiff. Or should I say stiffer? Because this is definitely not stiff. But you can see it coming together nicely now, right? It's starting to look more like the dough. So there are 2 things that I'm gonna add here that I haven't put in yet, and that's my oats and my baking powder. I just put a little bit of baking powder. I don't really need much, but I'm gonna put a little bit. Because I'm using the yeast, I'm just putting a teaspoon. For some reason, the word tablespoon is stuck in my mouth today. Everything I'm measuring on, I'm saying tablespoon. And then I'm using oats. This is the Foster oats that you saw me using last time when I was baking. I'm just pouring some in. Because this, I'm going to work with my hands. And this is the fun part. So I just use my hand to massage the oats and the baking powder together. And now I'm now ensuring that the oats get mixed into the overall dough of my lentil loaf. Smells so good. And remember, absolutely no flour is being used in this. So, see, I have a dough. Now, I've got my milk, I've got my oils, I've got my fiber, my legume, my rising agent. Could technically put a little bit more oats in there. The oats work as a binding agent, minus the flour. Just putting a handful more in there. Nothing much. I saw where this guy, he did the lentil loaf and he used it, he baked them in cups or mugs. So why is it that I decided that I want to try today? Yep. So that's what I decided, and that's what I'm going to try. I'm working the oats in. If you typically do a lot of breads, then this is super easy for you. So you see all the excess moisture is going. What's wrong with my tongue today? I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, my dough. My dough is done. It's all come together nicely. And no real effort. You know, when you do regular bread, you're kneading and kneading and kneading. No, with this, no major kneading required. I'm just doing this for emphasis sake. So you who are watching can see that I get it into a proper dough ball. I'm done. Now I'm going to shape them or portion them into the cup. But what I saw that I liked with the person who did it online is that they did. I'm going to change my gloves. What they did was that they used the white sesame seeds to line the cups so that when you're baked, it will come out much easier. So that I'm going to show you how to do. This is like Mama Bear. Papa Bear. And Baby Bear. I'll start with these three. So now we need to get a little oil in the cups. After get the oil, then we're gonna sprinkle it with the sesame seed. After we sprinkle with the sesame seed, we're gonna put in the dough and top it with some more sesame seed on top, and then let it. I'm gonna set it aside at least 45 minutes to see how much it's gonna raise. Okay. Okay, so I'm using basil, vegan basil. I'm just gonna put a little bit in each of the mugs. If I have enough, I'll do more cups, but I'll start off with these. So, salt, grease. Do the other one. Maybe I could put a little bit more in that one. all done. And do this last one now. It's the bigger one. So yeah, that one looks good, I think. Yep. If I need to do more, I'll do another one after, if I have the dough. So the next thing now, I'm going to put a little bit of this white sesame seed. It's not really white sesame seed, it's sesame that is being out. It's taken out. See? That's going in the bottom. Ah, that looks good. Who knew you could do this? I learned something new from that old timer. I don't remember his name though. I'm gonna have to look for him, and I'll do a link so you guys can see who it is that showed me about it. He said this is a great way to ensure that your bread, your loaf, comes out of your mug. But the good thing about this is like a cup is an individual serving. So now I put the dough in. Yeah, it's already started to poof. So it's evidence that my rising agents are active. So the reason why I'm pressing it down, I want to make sure I don't have any pockets, any holes in it. So I press down, and just like that, I have my first single bread in a mug. Hopefully, I'm putting it at the right level so that when it rises, it will just be enough to poof over the top. You don't get that perfect look. That's what I'm aiming for here. So again, pressing down to ensure that there's no air pockets. And there we go. Perfection. I might decide I'm still gonna see. So the sesame seeds are at the bottom. These are whole. They say it's organic white sesame seeds. See? Okay. So that's what I'm using. And I think I may have portioned these perfectly because I have sufficient now to do this big one. I think it's just enough to do it. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So cup of beer is coming on nicely. Does not look good. I wasn't quite decided, but I think I'm gonna bake them in a water bath. You know what that is, right? You put water in a container, and then you place whatever it is that you're baking in it. Like the main reason folks do it is because it allows for even when you whatever you're baking rises, it's even and it doesn't usually fall. The water moderates the temperature of the oven and make sure that the heat going to whatever you're making is perfect. I think Obi just burned the rice and peas. I'm smelling something like that. Am I right, babes? Side drama. The rice and peas got bun. The stove flared up. He did it. He got it this time. Remember, I got it last time I was making something where the stove flared up on me. So now that I've put them in the mugs, What I'm going to do is drizzle a little oil on top and then top it with the sesame seed. Then I'm going to set it aside. Just a little oil. Just ensure the moisture is locked in when it bakes. I may have put too much on that. In that case, I'm going to pour it over into the other. So let's see. It covers my top and I have excess, so I'll pour it in Papa Bear cup. The baby bear is looking pretty good. See that? And that's the bread in a cup. Yeah. Mama bear is looking okay too. And Papa Bear. Ooh, scrumptious. You want to see inside Papa Bear's cup? Look at that. Of all of us, my husband is the one who loves um, bread the most in this family. So he gets a bigger cup than everybody else. I want to make sure that it's as level as I can get it. So I'm going back now with the spatula just to give that sense of formity. So uniformity, that's the word I'm looking for. As you can clearly see, today really is a Friday for me. It's the first time doing the lentil loaf this way. The last time we were really shocked at how great it tasted because who knew you could make lentil loaf without flour? So here we got it. Papa bear, mama bear, and baby bear. They're all looking scrumptious. See? And I'm gonna sprinkle it with some white sesame seed, hulled, organically hulled, so that you get those artistry breads, and when you buy them, they're perfectly popped. And you wonder how do they get it like that? This is it. Just a little oil on top of your bread, your dough when you make it, and then sprinkle whatever you want on it. I could technically put some black sesame seed on there too, because that's the real powerhouse. Should I? Should I? It's already in the dough. Do I need to do it? Just because it's a real powerhouse for minerals. Not sure if you were here earlier when I was sharing it. Just 3 tablespoons is sufficient to give you 22. Sorry about that. 22% of your daily source of minerals. Look at it. See? Look at that. Potassium, calcium, iron, thiamine, riboflavin. What else is there? Niacin, vitamin B6, your biotin, your phosphorus, your magnesium, 21% of your magnesium, your zinc, your selenium, your copper, your, oh my goodness, I can't pronounce all of these. That's the thing about minerals. When you're looking at the names, you're like, oh yeah, I know. This is what I need to eat to get it. But they tell you what you get from this. And this is all natural, nothing artificial. So that's now ready. So I'm going to set it aside. I always I think the best way to do things is to show folks. So I've gotten my water in already. Put in Papa Bear. And for those who came on later, I named him according to who's gonna eat these things. So that's my husband. He's Papa Bear. I'm Mama Bear, and that's my bread, my personalized lentil loaf, and this is Baby Bear. So just like that, I've got 3 loaves ready, personalized size loaves ready, and I'm gonna bake them at three between 350 and 375, depending on how hot my oven is. Because when you're making bread, even if you started high, you got to drop it down to a lower temperature so that it bakes without disruption. Okay, so that's it. I'm now ready for this to set. And while this is setting, what am I going to do? I'm going to show you how to make something else that's quick and easy to do. So I'll come back to this in 45 minutes. Hey Google, set a timer for 45 minutes. So my loaves, I am covering it with some cling wrap. I'm setting it aside for 45 minutes. If I notice that it's really poofing up fast, then I won't let it stay the full time. I will just go ahead and put it in the oven early. But I'm still giving it the water bath just so that it can bake evenly and quickly. So just like that, there it is, they're ready. And they're now being set aside to rise. All right, so done with these, and I'm going to show you how to do something else that is fun to make, and it is tasty, and that is lentil burgers. Cleaned out. So here we go. Thank you for your patience. I have some pre-cooked lentils. So when I cook my lentils, I use the regular salt, pepper, thyme, scallion, or onion, or some rosemary. Rosemary is great for respiratory health, so that's why I use that. I have some, I like to use real things in my food, not artificial. So now, there are a couple things I add to my veggie burger. It's a powerhouse of flavors packed with so much goodness, and folks can't believe there's no meat in it. It's lentils. So if you love something that's tasty, that's filling, then this is a perfect patties for you to make. Lentils doesn't take long to cook. So if you don't have the time to cook it from scratch, you can go ahead and buy the canned lentils. But I'm adding a little bit of sweet pepper in it. As I said, I love fresh goodness in my burger. I already diced some ginger and I added that in after cooking. I cut the carrot into some strips already and add them so that it didn't cook out, but enough so that when I do the burger, it's not gonna be too crunchy. This is thyme. It's already prepped. So I'm just adding a little more. Although I cooked with it, I still like to add it to the burger itself. Because I have a sensitivity to onion and scallions, I will cook it in whatever I'm going to prepare, but I don't typically cut it up in it unless I grind it out. And then when I do, I can't put much because I get triggered off by it. So the stock from cooking the lentils is what I'm going to use to make the brown gravy. So as you see, I just put minimal of the main reason why I do that, I want to maintain the authenticity of my burgers, keeping it purely lentils. This is ground pimento. So this is about a teaspoon that I'm adding in. And then I'm going to put some ground turmeric. We make this turmeric ourselves, so that's about a teaspoon, maybe a little bit over. To bring out flavors, I use the Caribbean allspice, just a little bit, like a half a teaspoon. So you notice it's all natural, not doing any artificial. I put a little bit of star anise to elevate the flavor. Not too much because star anise is very strong. It's a strong spice, so I just put a little bit. Put a dash of nutmeg as well. A lot of people don't know that you can put nutmeg into savory. But yeah, it does elevate the flavor. Some people use browning and such. I don't. I put a dash, just literally a shake of cinnamon. Nothing much, just cinnamon. But I will put some salt in here. Although I cook with the salt, I still need a little bit more because that's the stuff that I'm adding. Because I have the turmeric. Turmeric has a property. I don't remember what it's called right now. Maybe you remember. And hey, Catabas. Thanks for dropping by. Saying hi. This is black pepper. You can see, well, it's not purely black pepper, but turmeric has a particular ingredient. I'm not remembering it. I'm really drawing a blank right now. And to activate it, you need the pepper. So I standardly don't use pepper, but I do the fresh ground pepper in because I want to activate the property in the turmeric so that I will get everything that I want from my burger. This is what they call the vegan and vegetarian MSG. It's nutritional yeast. I get this at, what is it, Healthy Planet? think that's sufficient. Yep. And then Coke got a lot of stuff in there, but because there's moisture in the lentils that was cooked or pre-cooked, I don't need to add a lot of moisture because it's been cooked. The moisture is locked into the lentils. So what else am I going to add to this to make it come together? Paste. Yeah, that one. Thank you. So I'm going to put a little bit of oats because the oats will also work as a binding agent in here. Excellent. So now that I've had my spices and my binding agent, the only thing I don't have in here is mustard and my tomato paste. I don't use the sauce, I use the paste. These are what I add to it. I find this is very tasty. If you say it's organic, you can get it at Healthy Planet, you can get it at Dollarama. No, not Dollarama. What am I talking about? Loblaws, all of those good places. So now I start to blend, massage them all together with my hand. So that's all the dry coming together. Before I get it down further, after I massage all the dry, I add the wet. And that way I get a complete blend. You see like that? I feel that it's looking good. It looks like something at least, right? I don't know if you agree with me that it's looking good. A little bit of mustard. A lot of people use ketchup and soy sauce. Sometimes I do use this soy sauce. So this same recipe I'm doing can be used to make a meatloaf. If you want to make a vegan meatloaf, this is actually a great, look at that rich color. So just before my lentils were done cooked, I added the diced carrot that I did, freshly diced carrots. I also added some frozen callaloo. So I end up with a rainbow happening. And now I'm going to mix it all together with my hands. When I'm done, I might find that I need to add a little bit more oats, and that's okay. The main thing is to ensure that everything is combined well. Ooh, I put it on the fridge and it looks like I'm gonna need a whole lot more oats. I forgot about that. When you put it to refrigerate, it's the extra moisture in the peas runs out, and so you now have to bind that all up. You don't want it to be super dry, but you don't want your burger to be running. We're not making sloppy joe. The spelt oats is usually better. It's way more expensive, but that's usually better when you're doing to absorb the moisture from your burger. And I'm thinking I may need to pour this out into a bigger dish just because it's coming out while I'm mixing it together with my hand. Hey, my people, can I get the, the bigger dish, please? This last one. Get all of this off my hands. Be sure to check out my channel and watch some of my videos. So I'm pouring it out. There we go. The smell is awesome. But because I don't have the spelled oats today, it's going to take more oats to bind it. Some people use flour. I don't like to use flour. If I'd use flour, it would be stiff. I find I'm not making a cake. I'm making a protein patty. So I want to maintain that integrity. I'm going to taste some of it. And I'll tell you how good it is right now. And it's not even done yet. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's so much flavor. Mm. So yeah, my lentil patties are almost done. I'm just adding a little bit more oats so that the patty will have the binding that it needs. I know, I said a little. It is a little. Just the right amount, I think, to bind it. All right, let's see. Looking good. If you recall that the lentils that I used in the lentil loaf earlier, it was uncooked, but the lentil that I'm using here, it is cooked. So to maintain the integrity of my loaf, I'm adding oats. And this time I'm adding Robin Hood minute oats. Ooh, I think I got too much this time for sure. Let's see. Will it be sufficient to absorb all the excess moisture that I have? So a couple pockets that were dry. Just making sure that everything is moist and good, that it comes together perfectly. Now, funny enough, because it was in the fridge, the excess water that was in the lentils, it leaked out. But now that I have put it together, if I put it in the fridge for 10 to 15 minutes, that will make it set, so to speak. So the burger will take its form better when I go to prep it, to shape them out. Isn't that interesting? One cold extract, one cold carton. When I make lentil patties or lentil burgers, the bigger they are, we call them burgers. The smaller they be, we call them patties, because you can shape them into the perfect size, depending on how you want to use them. You can do them so that you have 2 or 3 as a serving for dinner or lunch, or you can do it that you have just one as a serving for lunch or dinner as a big burger. It's up to you. Thanks for stopping by. Let me know where you're watching from. What did you have for lunch today? Have you eaten lunch? What time is it where you are? Let me know in the chat. I haven't eaten lunch yet. When this is all ready, I'm going to have my lunch. Or dinner. So what do I call that? It's not brunch. Although technically it would be, because I haven't really eaten yet today. And that could have been why I had a giddy spell not too long ago. Yeah. Now my burger is perfect. This, as I said, is going to get shaped into patties that I'm going to do stovetop and then final bake in the oven. The brown gravy that I'm going to make later is going to show you how you can plate and just drizzle your gravy or have it on the side with your burger. It's up to you. But now they're ready. I will scoop and shape and fry and bake. That's the next step here. Okay. Burger's ready. And it only took long because I'm trying to do step by step and show you guys. But if I was doing this one away by myself, I would have been done, had it in the fridge a long time ago. Right, so I'll need to wrap that and put it aside. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. And then move on to, while this is setting, I'm going to show you guys how to make the brown gravy. That way my time is not wasted, and your time is not wasted. I hope you had a delicious lunch today. It's a Friday. What do people typically have for lunch on Fridays? Pizza, a salad, sandwiches. Because it's the end of the week. You're tired of cooking if you cook and take to work. You're cooking for the entire family and already. You don't necessarily maybe want to cook. You know what I'm just realizing I didn't add in here? I didn't put any coconut milk, and I always do. So guess what I'm going to do? I have coconut milk powder. So rather than the fresh today, I'm just going to work that in. Because again, the coconut gives me some extra fats. And what I'm discovering as a vegetarian, semi-vegan, is that my diet, it lacks sufficient protein and fats. Yet, for the longest time, my doctor kept telling me that I had high cholesterol, which I've never had. I've never had any of the chronic lifestyle diseases. So when she told me that, I was like, no way. She's like, yeah. She wanted to put me in some meds, and I'm like, nope. And then I'm like, hey, God, tell me, what should I do? And then I got the answer in liquid gold, avocado. So I did the fasting with the avocado, just avocado water, and either the pink salt or the Celtic salt. Celtic salt. Those were what I used when I was doing the fast. And then my last reading, because your body start the process, but you don't see the test results for months down the road a lot of times. When I went, she says, what are you doing? Your cholesterol is so low. It's 3.2. You've never gotten it that low. What are you doing? You need to tell me the secret. I just smiled because she told me to cut off avocado, right? And I went full in on the avocado fast. Who does that? Well, I do. See that? See the moisture? See the richness? That's my avocado. Hear me, avocado. I guess avocado is stuck in my head. That's my lentil loaf. It's ready to set now. Technically, it could be done even like this because it's firm enough. But what I always find is that it gets gooey in my hand if I'm shaping it in my hand. So to prevent that, I just go ahead and let it sit in the fridge for at least 10 to 15 minutes so that it forms easier. I will spoon or scoop it, shape it, and put it in the pot and let it get fried on top of the stove. And then I will put it to bake in the oven for 15 minutes. So just like that. See? All natural, nothing artificial. Lentil loaf. Or lentil patties. Or lentil burger. Depends on what you want it to be. So right now. Okay, so while that is resting, see, here we have, they're coming slowly, but not much movement. So it looks as if I'm going to let them sit for the full 45 minutes. You see that one? Mama bear is coming up little. Papa bear has pushed up the most, see? So they are coming. Hey Google, how much time do I have left in my timer? So that's 16 minutes. At that time, I will go ahead and put them to bake. So I'm just going to show you what I do to make the brown gravy. That's why I love this mat. It's so convenient when you're doing stuff like this. Do you want to put this up for me? Just go to this one and hold on. So, as I showed you earlier, I already had some stuff prepped for my gravy. I like mushroom gravy. I don't have any mushroom now, so I'm just going to do a brown gravy. I'll put the onion and the sprig of thyme in it. I'll keep a little bit of the thyme to go with my sweet. I like sweet peppers. I like a colorful, I should say I love a colorful gravy. A lot of people don't, but I love a colorful gravy. So what you see on top is what I'm going to put in the pot initially. Hey babe, did I send my knife away? I'm not seeing my knife. I think, oh no, I have it next to it. Okay, that sounds weird, right? Not next to it, just that I have it. I had it to the side. I think I want one more onion to really make this a proper brown gravy. I think I need one more onion. I'm going to rinse that onion. You always tell me what you want when I'm cooking and what I need and what you need. You're not interested. And then when you taste it, oh, I understand. Yeah. Okay. We're going to have a set for this one. Thank you so much for spending some of your lunch time with me. Can you see what I'm doing? Okay. So I washed and cleaned up the onion. And then now I take off the extra layers on the outside of the onion. Hey babes, can you take out a frying pan for me, please? I need two. I need the wok and I need the one that I usually use. Please, thank you. You need me to move? Frying pan. So I don't eat onions. From I was a child, I didn't realize at the time that it was an allergy. As I got older, I found out it was an allergy. So I don't eat onion. And I can't. Yes, and the gray one, please. And I don't eat thyme. Not thyme, scallion, green onion, some people call it. I can't eat those. If I do, I get sick. So I just know my limit, but garlic and onions, they bring out the properties in your food. So when you're cooking and you season up with your onion and your garlic, it's a great thing you're doing, because as the food cooks, all the nutrients that are locked in are activated. So that's why I still use them when I cook. I just am more conscious about how I use them. So I would say take a whole onion and drop it into the pot, or I'll cut it in half or quarters. That way I'm still getting the properties from the onions without it um, going directly into my food for my consumption. So when I see it, I pick it out. From a kid, I learned early, whenever we had food, to pick out. Because the family weren't going to change what they do for a kid back then until later on I started cooking and I started not put it in the way they do. So chop it in half and then another half, so it's in eighths. And I'm going to use all of that to start the gravy. So basically, you're going to put a bit of oil in the pot. Then you're going to put the onions. And then to that, you're going to add some flour and stir it in. Then you're going to add the vegetable stock and maybe a little bit more water, depends how thick it gets. And you're going to strain it. Get rid of the onion. Then I'll add my other stuff in. And I have my brown gravy. Easy peasy, right? Have you ever done it before? So if you use the yellow or the white onions, then one large one is sufficient. It's because these are tiny while I'm using so many, but they're packed with flavor and nutrients. In fact, the purple onion or the red onion are better for you than the white or the yellow onion. But a lot of people buy what's convenient, and that is the white and yellow onions, right? Because it's readily available at your supermarket. So now I need to get a pot with some oil on the stove, and I'll show you what I'm doing there. See, my surface is ready again to go for whatever else I want to do. Just like that. Okay. Perfect timing. You get to see how I make my brown gravy. So I just have it when I'm gonna do anything fry. I like to boil a little water in the pot before I use it. What it does for me is that if for any reason there was some residue left in the pot, I make sure I get it out. I learned this from a Chinese chef years ago. Like whenever they cook, they always rinse their wok, and it's hot water that does the rinsing for them, and their little bamboo whisk. So I've developed the habit of doing that. So just like with any other, they say wood is best, and I know why, because it doesn't disturb the properties of the food that you're preparing. So for this gravy, I am going to use my wooden spoon. Okay, so I'm putting in some coconut oil. This coconut oil is done, but I think this should be, if I need more, I'll get it because I have, but I think this should be sufficient. I'm adding in the onions and the sprig of thyme. I'm gonna give me a little bit more. My stove is flashing up, so it's not flashing up, it's clearing up on me. So this is how you make the perfect brown gravy. Are you listening to this expert now? Thanks for dropping by with Chef Twellyah. This is how you make gravy. For all of you who need to impress somebody and you're not sure how to do it, this is how they do it in the restaurants, okay? I'm adding a little bit more oil. Coconut oil sleeps up. You know it's good oil. If it doesn't sleep, it's bad. Don't use it. So that's how you know it's good oil. When it sleeps up, it means the natural properties in your coconut oil are still very much active. Hey Google, stop. Now for this, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. I've turned down my stove. It's been doing it since the day. I'm going to use the other side. That's the lower one. The idea is not to make this burn, which is wanting to do. So I don't know why I keep forgetting this about the stove. Yeah. Let me add a little bit of ground pimento. Again, I'm gonna put a little bit of turmeric. For me, turmeric is like turmeric and ginger are from the same family, and so everything I cook, I like to use them. And I'm putting the black pepper to activate the property in the turmeric. So I ground a little bit. Okay, so it's brown now, so I am gonna add the flour. Believe or not, this is how you make brown gravy. That delicious gravy that you enjoy in the restaurant, this is how they make it. And then for all of that, now I need to add my veggie stock, which I explained earlier. This is what I saved from my lentils. So when you do things yourself, you don't have to buy the store stuff. So this is, as you can see, my lentil stock. When I cooked it, I put it in. I just strained it off and put it aside because I knew I was going to use it for this. And because my lentil is so rich, it slept up. So for me to get all of that goodness, I boiled up my kettle earlier. And then I added to that. I'm getting everything. I'm not missing any. There you go. See? And you don't worry about the lumps. You just keep stir it so it doesn't burn or it doesn't get too lumpy on you. I probably rushed that. I know I did. And I also probably used a little bit too much flour. I know that I did. And that's okay. Now the main thing is to keep stirring this. Don't worry about how it looks. So if I had mushrooms, I would be adding my mushroom after this process. So what's going to happen is that this is going to get strained, and that's why I say don't worry about the lumps. You're good. So although I added a little bit too much flour, it's still going to work out okay. And that's some nice rich gravy. And it's all done from scratch. No additives. That brown gravy that you see they serve at the canteen, at the big restaurants, this is how they make it. It's very simple. Some people like to do it with cornstarch. That could be done. Some people use tapioca. That could be done. I'm using the easiest form, something that everybody has in their house, flour. So see, although I didn't use it in the burger, I still end up using it because it's in my gravy. Can you see how thick that is? I probably should have used half the flour I used. I haven't made gravy like this in what, about since last year, so over 8 months. That looks so yummy. I want to taste it. And I so wish I'd remember to tell hubby to get mushrooms. Because now I want mushrooms. Remember I said I was making brown gravy. You're saying, but Andrea, Twellyah, that's not brown. It's more like a murky gray, green. That's correct. Don't worry yourself about that. I am going to use a little bit of magic. Technically, I don't have to. I could use coconut amino. But I'm using a conventional thing that folks use to make gravy. That with a vegan flair. Or a vegetarian flair, should I say. Because a lot of people, when they do this, they use bacon or beef or chicken fat to get it to have flavor. You don't need any of that to make it have flavor. This is sufficient. If I had the patience to whisk this out, all the lumps would be gone, but I don't have that patience. So guess what? That's not going to happen today. But I've worked a lot of it out. Pour a little bit more water in there because it's going to sleep up really thick later. And I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be gravy, gravy, gravy. Some folks, what they do at some of the restaurants, they don't even do the process I do. They just blend it at this stage. They just put it in a blender and whip it. And technically, you could do it. But again, remember my sensitivity with onions and such. The reason why I won't do that. But this is a very rich gravy. Oh my, that sure is tasty. There's this thing I found at Dollar. Maybe I need to go to Dollarama to get something. Like, find this. It's called a naked sauce. It sells at your supermarket, and it sells at Healthy Planet. So if you want a little bit of that soy sauce type flavor without using soy sauce, you can use that. What I typically do, because I want to be able to have like an Asian flair or like an Asian fusion thing happening, I usually put a little bit of sesame oil. I find